Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi show with Peter Yu. Today, we're going to do an episode dedicated to our dear friend, Drew.
Drew.
You know Drew.
Of
Drew.
course.
Yeah, he's been around the dojo 15 years, 20 years, maybe even. He's just a great addition to the room, always. You know, he's always a net positive.
Yeah.
And, you hear me talk about this all the time. If you have 50 people in the room, they're all not one. Not
Right.
plus one. Some people are like 1.3. Some people are like 0.8. People who hurt other people, they're a net negative in the room.
What's
right?
Drew?
Drew's like 8.
Oh, wow.
He comes in, he has a great attitude, he works out with everyone, he's safe, right?
Yeah. He's a great guy.
Yeah. And these little factors kind of contribute to being like a huge net positive.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's guys who are black belts, when a white belt asks them to work out, they're like, they make a face or whatever it is, and they don't feel like warm and welcoming to some of the beginners. Drew's not like that. He's a great dude. He comes in.
What was my score?
You were definitely a negative for a very long time because you would hurt everyone. Right? That's the thing. If the guy's in the room and he's hurting people, right?
Yeah.
He's definitely a negative. But then you got better.
Yeah, that's right.
No, you're huge too. You're like a net +9, dude. Maybe
9.
8, 7. I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm kind of half joking about this stuff.
So, what was Drew's concern? So, what he asked us to talk about some of his concerns, right?
Yes. So he moved a little bit further away, right? Probably like an hour away from the dojo. He got married. He has 2 kids. So he has a hard time getting to the gym the way he used to. He used to live right down the block. He used to come all the time religiously, never missed a class.
Yeah.
Right. So he was concerned about like keeping his judo training up, with the limitations of life. Everyone has this. You get older, your life changes a little bit, you get relocated. Right. So, I kind of wanted to give him some tips and advice to kind of,
And this, it's quite relevant to me too. It's
relevant to you, relevant to everybody,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those, the days of, training every day are kind of behind me, but I still like to, keep it up, So let's go right into it. So, what do you suggest? So we're talking about the fact that you just can't make it to the dojo often.
Yes.
Right.
So a lot of the times, you go to the dojo for different things. Some people go to make friends. Some people go to train and get better in terms of health. Right. So in order to maximize your time at the dojo, like your reason for being there has to be different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you have to maximize the time that you're there. Let's just say if you're there once every 2 weeks, right? You have to kind of focus on doing technique and things like this, right? Working out, doing randori, things you can't do at home.
Yeah.
This can no longer be about you working out.
Right.
Which means you have to do your working out at home. So you have to stay in relatively good shape to do more rounds at the gym. Okay. So lifting and running has to be an integral part of your training outside the gym.
So that when you go to the dojo, you can do multiple rounds of randori.
Yes. And usually I'll suggest things like, people disagree with me when I say like, doing a compound lift heavy, like bodybuilding, like heavy training regimen for the outside of judo, right? How can that ever be good for you? But, you gain mass and then you have muscle tissue and then you could coordinate and teach those muscles to make specific movements.
Yeah.
Right. So there is carryover from like doing heavy squats, heavy deadlifts, heavy bench and stuff like this.
Right.
Although there's not exactly a connection. People talk about, it's better to do sports specific movements.
Yeah. Like functional training, whatever. Right.
Yes. Like for instance, like gi pull-ups. People talk about this all the time. You should definitely do gi pull-ups because it's much more. But if you're doing judo 6 days a week, do you really want to tax your hands more?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of an unnecessary stressor on your joints if you're already doing those stimulus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wouldn't you want to load your back maximally? That's my opinion. Right?
To balance it out a little.
Yes. So if you're doing tons of judo, I say do the best working out system that's going to supplement your judo, right? Like if you're not getting certain types of stimulus.
Right.
And then if you have certain deficits, like, oh my God, like I get so tired so soon, or my hands get really tired. So you focus on your hands. You know what I mean? But in Drew's case, it should be about keeping endurance high, right? Sports specific training, high intensity training that way. Right. And you want to kind of have that balance when you're programming your training. It can't be as simple as like, push pull legs or upper lower split or judo specific training every single day. It can't be like this, right? So you have to really look at your own deficits and advantages, like things that you're very good at, things you're not very good at, and you got to fill in the gap to maximize your training, everything has to be done in a way where it maximizes your training every 2 weeks, right?
Can you give us some specific examples? Like,
Yeah.
say, well, you can take me as an example, I guess.
Well,
so, yeah, my endurance is not as good, and then I can only make it to the gym maybe once or twice a week now.
okay.
Right?
So let's just say,
Yeah.
for instance, like if you do an upper lower split, okay,
Yeah.
upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body, and let's say you're in the gym 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Let's just even say twice a week, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
You go to judo once a week.
Yeah.
So you want to probably schedule your lower body workout early in the week, right? And when you do these lower body things, you want to do sort of higher repetition things. And then you also want to do heavy sprints at the end of your training. And the heavy sprints can tax your system and all this stuff. And then it becomes like sort of this like high intensity interval training, which kind of mimics the judo side, right? Doing box jumps, things like this, plyometric workouts to keep that explosive ability up. You know what I mean? So that's a nice thing that you could do. And you could progressively overload yourself like this way, right? But this is the thing, that's specific to you, because most of the time I wouldn't give that same advice to myself, because it's like, hey man, you're so heavy. If you're doing hard sprints all the time, you're going to be taxing your knees suck, right?
Oh,
so in this case for me, I'll be like, all right, you want to get your weight down. So I would do a little bit more lighter cardio, lower intensity, interval, training, things like this. Yeah. So it's very sports specific. And you could probably use a couple of sets of heavy deadlifts actually too.
Deadlifts.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? Heavy deadlifts, heavy squats or something. That would vary it. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like the perfect progressive overload training program for, bodybuilders or powerlifters or anything like this. It could be designed specifically to you. But I would definitely have a sprinting day. Not a day, but like a sprinting portion.
Right.
A heavy lifting portion where you're like really taxing the legs, right? And then if you have any deficits like hamstrings or something, then it's like Nordic curls or hamstring curls or whatever it is, doing negatives, things like that. You know what I mean?
I see.
Upper body, like what does your shoulder mobility look like? Yeah, that's so good.
It's okay.
So when you're doing upper body training, right? It's like, do you want to gain muscle? Do you want to not gain muscle? Do you want to stay at the same weight class? Those things kind of matter also, right? To design your program. But you can do, gi pull-ups and whatnot.
Because I don't do as much of the gi training, right?
Yes. And then if you want to keep the hand strength up, you need that stimulus, right?
Right.
But this is the thing. Who's compliant and who's going to bring a gi to the gym?
Yeah.
Most people won't, right? So it's like, in theory, it's great. You do judo 2 times a week. And then on the 3rd time, you're going to do gi exercises and gi pulleys and all this stuff. Yeah. But if you're not going to bring a gi to the gym, it's not going to matter, right? So it's like most people won't consistently bring that,
Just do the regular pull-ups, I guess. Yeah.
So that's my sort of what I would do in terms of like, and Drew, if you need help programming something, I could definitely help. Sometimes it's kind of just good to do a powerbuilding lifting program, because you could just get into that world, gain muscle, right? But the issue is when you get, 20 pounds of muscle through this program, some people will gain 20 pounds, even natty, if you're not used to doing these kinds of programs. When you get to the judo, you're going to be gassed. Right. Because you have so much more muscle. Yes, exactly. So I would definitely go the route of like, hard cardio, explosive workout, plyometric, those kinds of trainings. If you're going to, if you really want to maximize your judo time every 2 weeks that you come in, that's what I would focus on.
I see.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way, because I should really try to get my fitness up so that I can go every round, I guess.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. If you're doing like, how many days a week do you go to the gym? Can you go to the gym?
Well, nowadays I just do push-ups and pull-ups at home. I started back up. I try to do it every day.
Okay. So that should that's fine for like, in terms of like strength, upper body strength, like you titrate it in all throughout the week. That way, every time in the gym, you focus on like sprints and plyometric workouts and like things like this.
Right.
Then like the curls and the tricep extension, that's for your mind. It's from my mind. Like I love bicep curls. Like I know it's very functionally useless from a judo standpoint, but it's just good for the mind, and it'll get me in the gym because I look forward to it.
Oh, you like it. You like the pump.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So that's what I would suggest.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. So, the goal is to maximize your time when you're at the dojo. So get your fitness up.
Yep. Get your fitness up.
Yeah. All right. What else? What else can we do?
Well, so outside of that, right, the most important part is like visual training, technique study, and then keeping your motivation up. And so it's a sort of a two-part thing that I have like when you're outside the gym.
Yeah.
You watch highlight reels for the motivation, right? It juices you up.
Yeah.
And then
It really
you
does.
stay in contact with your rivals at the gym. So you're kind of involved, right? And he does this. He texts he texts these guys, hey man, I'm coming Wednesday. Hey Clapper, I'm coming in, right? So he does this. He stays in contact with the people. He stays in contact with the community, right? And then he watches. I don't know. He's not an Instagram guy, right?
Right.
You can watch reels. You can watch like highlight videos, this and that, and that'll keep you motivated. You also do have to watch some technique videos. I suggest mine.
Does drop Seoi Nage one?
Drop Seoi Nage is a good one. Yeah, you don't have to buy anything. There's a million free ones on YouTube, right? So having a little bit of technique study. And once you have sort of like that motivation of what it's supposed to look like, and you have an idea of the concepts behind it, okay, then you want to sort of do visual training.
Yeah.
And, if you're not a high level competitor, like a lot of the guys who train in the gym, 90% of people don't compete. Right. Even 95% of the people who all grapple don't compete.
Yeah.
Right. So like visualizing yourself, like, on the podium, whatever, that's kind of nice too. But then, you want to visualize yourself competing against some of these guys in the gym. Right. And you want to build their profile and have that in your mind, and you want to visualize training against them. Also, you can also like pick champions now currently and visualize yourself and strategize. How would I fight these guys? Right?
Champions as in like
oh no.
Oh,
shit. Yeah. So like when you outgrip him right versus right, he's gonna let you get it, and then he's gonna punch that armpit in, and he does three things from there.
Osotogari,
Osoto Uchimata, backstep Uchimata, or Tomonaga. He does those three things.
Yeah.
Right? So as soon as you get it, okay, here we go. He's gonna go for one of those things. Should I try to counter it or try to preemptively go for something? Right?
Sure. And then like the level difference is so great though. Like that can I like realistically block his three strategies? I don't know.
I mean, in real life, maybe not, but you're strategizing.
Okay. Just in your head.
Yeah,
okay.
This is the attack system that he does, right? What if there's a guy, half his body weight, half his size, half his abilities? You'll probably be able to beat him.
Okay, I see.
Right?
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you dominate, he punches that armpit, he fakes Tomonagi and does a huge spinning backstep. You freaking stuff it. And then now visualizing what it looks like when he goes down on his knees, right, from that failed Uchimata, and then forcing Newaza from there.
Yeah.
What would be the best thing? Right? He's going to release this lapel hand and then try to go belly down, but you're already threading your right hand through, right? For that Juji roll.
Yeah.
All right. And what is the common reaction for the Juji roll? Like, what are the main lines of defense from there? You know what I mean?
I see.
Where do I miss, right? Most people kind of lose shin pressure on the back of the head. Yeah. Therefore, they can't create, right, the pivot point. Fulcrum to rotate them. Right? So you can visualize this. And it's like, am I physically capable of doing this cleanly without any forced mistakes? Right? So now, I cannot do it. I have to train this a little bit, right? I have to drill this a little bit.
Right.
So now, some people kind of do it naturally already because they're just athletic. They see it, they could think it, they could do it. Most people aren't. A lot of people aren't like this, right? Therefore, I need to be able to drill this. Maybe that's something I'll drill at the dojo when I get there on Wednesday.
I think that's the biggest part. Like you think about these things, maybe you noticed that you weren't really, certain things were working for you during randori, and then you think about it, watch some highlights for inspiration, watch some technique videos for inspiration. You have a fix, you come up with a fix, and then you're like, okay, I can't wait to try this next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of this type of visual training, right? People in like bodybuilding talk about mind-muscle connection all the time.
Yeah, what's that?
Right? If you're like doing bicep curls, you're like thinking about your bicep and you're thinking about creating this bicep curl and then contracting at the top, where you're pulling your pinkies in and all this stuff. And then when you're visualizing like benching at home, right? It's like, I have to squeeze my lats, pull my shoulder blades back. And it's almost as just thinking and visualizing about it makes my muscles kind of work and contract and then send electrical pulses there. So you kind of almost feel it as you're visualizing it.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's a portion of visual training and grappling that people often don't talk much about.
Maybe that's why I don't really find weight training that fun. Maybe I should start doing that more like
weight training.
Yeah, wired in like that.
Yeah, mind muscle connection. Yeah,
I'm always like, oh, I just gotta get through these reps.
Yeah, no, I mean you can, but a lot of it is like, do I feel my chest maximally contracting? You know, and you have to kind of give yourself different cues and different ways to attack it. You know, as opposed to like just pressing the belt up. Right?
Yeah.
Not that, but like if you're talking about dumbbells, you're thinking about, you know, bringing your elbows in towards the middle because that's what the pec does, right? Bringing your arm across the body.
Yeah.
So like through resistance, you're feeling the pec contract, right? And you're like squeezing at the very top. And then like, do I have sufficient tension all throughout the range of the motion at all times? That's going to maximally help me gain muscle, like hypertrophy. Yeah. But same kind of thing with visual training, right? It's like, all right, I'm going to do judo with Ono, same example. Right? I get my first hand out, put my second hand out. He's trying to, block his arm. I'm going to tuck it. I'm going to move it, right? I'm moving my feet. So it's like I'm thinking about my hands moving, my feet moving, right? My lead leg is straight. I'm posturing upright, right? I twist Koji, right? And pull his head down, right? And he's significantly weaker in my example. So if he just drops to his knees, right? And then immediately go for a front headlock choke.
And then he taps out and you go,
I go like this is
gold medal.
So that's a good visual training thing, right? Because your body's kind of moving to it, and then you're feeling that connection, and then so now all of a sudden, when you get to the dojo, when you see that exact example, right? Maybe there's someone who fights exactly like him. You're a little bit more familiarized. It's not too foreign.
Right.
I did judo on Wednesday. I did a bodybuilding workout at home for the last 2 weeks. I'm a little bit bigger and stiffer. And now all of a sudden I'm doing another independent workout where I'm like coming in the gym, just freaking going for random shit.
Right.
There's no connection between the training sessions, right? That's the issue, you know?
So it's kind of, I think it's good to have this one goal where, I want to maximize my like time at the dojo.
Yeah.
So throughout the week, you're working out your body, get your fitness up, and then you're mentally kind of thinking about what you're going to do at the dojo.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, exactly.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
What else? Are there some other things that you could do to help with that?
Yeah, for sure. So you go into the gym, right? And you do your workout. But the primary difference between, I talk about this all the time, like workout and training, right?
Yeah.
Independent workout, you go for a workout. The goal is to get a workout in.
Right.
Sweat,
just going through the movement.
Burn calories. That's it. That's independent. It's like watching an episode of Friends. It's just one freaking independent thing. You don't have to watch the episode before, watch the episode out. It doesn't matter. It's self-contained.
Yeah.
Right? But these episodes all sort of have a connected thing. Like, is Ross going to end up with Rachel? It's the whole storyline, right?
Right.
And that's the training portion that connects all this stuff to keep you in the game. Because if you're just working out, it's one independent thing, right?
Yeah.
If you're training, it's over a long period of time. What makes people watch these stupid shows?
Right? Oh, you just get a lot of haters for that comment. But it's because it's fun. It's fun, as a one contained, episode. But then it also has this long story. Like just like, is Ross gonna end up with Rachel? Are they gonna have a baby? Things like that. That keeps you going.
It does
coming
keep
back.
You going.
Yeah.
But how do you build your training around this concept? Right? You got to keep a journal.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Some people are journalers. Some people are not.
You keep a journal?
No. But I have. That's the thing. And I'll go in spurts. You know what I mean? Like I have like the notes app on my phone, and that's my sort of primary source of journaling. And then if I get inspired to do journaling for a little period of time, I'll do it for 1 or 2 months.
I see.
And whenever I look back on those notes, right, it's like, wow, these are the ideas.
What do you write things out, like how it went during training, what you want to do next time?
Sometimes it's like a bunch of sequences. It's almost like a mind dump for me, like
I see.
And this is the thing. I think everyone has a sort of a different method. Right, when it comes to like putting down their thoughts on words, in words. And some people are good at it. Some people are literally illiterate, but there's ways to kind of like design this thing for you. The key thing takeaway from here when you're like thinking about journaling is that you're doing it in a way where there's continuity in your training always. What did I do last week? Okay. What am I going to do today? What was I working on last week? What did I want to work on this week? And it's just like a constant reminder that's like a constant flow towards something, right? It's so easy when you're in the dojo. I'm going to work out with you. 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 I'm going to do uchikomi, do some push-ups, call it a day. And then just mail it in during the waza.
Right.
Are you really getting better? No, you're working out.
Yeah.
Right? But you're not really getting better. You're having the same exact rounds week after week. Yeah. Same exact position. Right versus right with this person. Clapper's right, but he switches left. And it's like right versus left. He goes under. I go over. I try not to let him get too close. He's trying to step through. Koji sumi. Deashi. I'm pulling his head down. It's the same exact randori every week. Where's the progress? How do I break those patterns, right?
Right.
So when you're journaling, you could journal a lot of things. You could journal and say, hey, this is how judo is done by this person. You can create profiles with certain people. Peter does this in these situations, Peter does that in certain situations. And you could write all that Peter does, okay? And then you can sort of rank which parts are good about him, which parts are bad about him. What weaknesses can you try to exploit, right? And you could keep this mentally too. But a lot of people don't focus on these other people. They focus on themselves, right? Oh, what do I have to do? What is this combination? I have to memorize this thing, right? But it's important to have that portion of it too, So every time I'll work out, like this is an example for Judo. I worked out with Ian today. He did these things. Usually he doesn't do these things, but he keeps doing this. This is my opportunity. This is what worked. This is what didn't. I need to work on this, right? Oh, shoot. He's been working on Kanaguma, getting very. Oh, shoot. He's doing a lot of Uchimaras now. Doesn't really go for it in practice yet. But something to think about, right?
Because, Ian's working on it like Uchikomi wise and stuff. Maybe he's trying to go for it during Randori. Yeah.
So things like that, right? And then things to drill, right? Ideas, concepts, and gripping. You could like segment all these different things and put it into like a little chart, Some people can just do this mentally, like you don't even need to write this stuff down. But I think in the beginning, it helps.
Yeah, the kind of structure to, get you going.
Yeah.
I think one thing is, so I kind of do that with when I read papers, I like take notes. So I had to like kind of work on this process, but I think the biggest thing to avoid is that when you start out, sometimes you get overly enthusiastic and you try to do all the fancy things that other people do. But I don't think that's usually the way to go. You should just start simple and like as sustainable as possible, whatever that may be. And then you can start with the Notes app. And then you start adding things onto it.
Yeah.
Like, the grip fighting sequence, you can start doing that once you get like a rhythm going.
Yeah. Look, I'm just going to type in my Notes app now. It says, I just typed in BJJ, my Notes app. And then it's like, Bernardo Faria system, right? Pull guard, deep half, underhook, sweep, side control, right?
Yeah.
Pass from deep half, right? Pass from the half. Choke with the lapel, control forearm.
I think that's a good example. Like they're not even like, they don't have to be complete sentences, not like literally a journal. Like, dear diary, today Ian beat the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
Yeah. Here's one. Paul Schreiner, sweep with knee, lever, sweep, preventing over underpass of the arm block and head spot. Right? It's good stuff, man. I'm looking at this already. I'm like, wow, this is very good. I worked out with this guy, Rohan. He had an amazing spider guard, right? I know how to pass it, but I had a hard time. It's very tall. Need to pummel hands off better. And I'm like looking at this and I remember this now. It's like, a chess master that played chess, 8 years ago in a game. Like I remember these exact rounds. You know what I mean? Eventually, like it was good. It was fun. It was great. But it was like a kind of a learning thing because this guy was a spider guard specialist, right? He was very good at that. That's all he did. And then I remember like, I don't want to say letting them get it. I don't want to say anything like that. It sounds like douchey.
Yeah.
But like, like I was kind of like, all right, let's see what he does spider guard. Let me kind of give him the grips, right?
Yeah.
And then see how he attacked. You know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously, like, I don't want to get triangle or anything like that, but like, if I just completely avoid it and like not let him get spider guard and just stick and then try to dive through and just go over underpass, like I could go over underpass. I'm very heavy. I'm good at it. But I'm like, that won't make me good at defending spider guard against somebody good if I'm in that position.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, let me see how this feels going into this. You know what I mean? And I remember that. And now that's bringing back all the lessons that I've learned that day. This is 2017. Beautiful.
Dang.
I know. Yeah. I hope he's doing good, Rohan.
You should,
I couldn't pass, I feel like, at the time, because,
you can publish a book with this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's see. It's amazing stuff. So, this kind of stuff is great because now I can actually, right? I've grown from this moment in 2017, but I could kind of revisit these things and see if they're actually stuck, right? But this is the thing, right? No one really does spider guard like this guy at my gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So do I really know this? Like, did it really, like all the lessons that I learned here, did it stick? Who knows? Okay. Maybe, right? If I'm thinking my training lens, I could go with Brian Glick, who's my jiu-jitsu teacher, and be like, hey man, can you go spider guard? And then can we just play in that situation? Right. And then see how like smooth I am at clipping this and taking that and using my legs and keeping my body. And then, stepping back and pinning the legs and then leg drop, like, and we'll see if it's good.
Yeah.
It most likely is good, because
you're a natural athlete.
Yeah.
Natural athlete.
Right.
I wonder, I bet Glick keeps a meticulous journal. I think I can just see him doing that.
Could.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do it all the time.
Right.
Even if it's every now and then, right?
Yeah.
You could do this. I remember if I type in, I'll give you one. I remember in my journal 10 years ago, I wrote, Marty Malloy teaches me Sode, Marty Malloy's Sode system.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
She does it very uniquely. I will never forget this. I wrote this down. I remember writing this down. I worked out with Marty. She's unbelievably good and strong.
Yeah.
Marty Malloy, she's an Olympian. Right? She's a friend of mine. And she like took my hand off and I'm like, oh shit, my hand came off. Right. And then she had the lapel hand. Right. And then she's going Sode. And I'm like, oh, you're going to catch me with this.
Yeah.
Right. Because she doesn't have my forearm. Yeah. As she's going for Sode with the hand she just took, she's catching the sleeve. Like she lets go of the lapel and catches the sleeve as she's going in. And I was like, what?
Oh.
Yeah, because there was a false sense of security there.
Yeah.
Right? Because she doesn't control this arm. But then she's catching that arm as she's going. Okay. Right?
Interesting.
So I'm like much more aware of this now. And then I'm like, oh shit, like I don't get bombed by Marty in front of everybody. You know what I mean? I was like, I weigh her 100 pounds, but like I don't want to like, I'm like kind of playing.
Yeah.
I'm like legitimately working out with her. And then she goes for it again. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna like block with my hip and step across. And then bang, she hit me with a foot sweep. I'm like, whoa, I was like, Marty, you gotta show me this. And she's like, oh yeah, this is what I do. I go like this and I go like that. And sometimes I go koji from here with the lapel and the sleeve. Right. And it's very nice because you have the lapel and you have the option to let go and catch the sleeve if you decide to go Sode. But if you don't, you keep it and then bomb the person koji, which I think she did in the Olympics actually. And I remember like writing that down in my journal. It was like pen and paper somewhere in my house. And then I went to train and I did it. I was like, trained it. But my Sode was so bad that I couldn't make any of this work. I couldn't even enter because I didn't understand the concept of like, getting this hand up and across and over. Like, because when I'm working on the Sode, it's very clear that the other person's like, hey, you're about to go for Sode.
Right.
And it was like too telegraphed, right? It's not working with other things like, moving here, going coach you there, cut the head, they're returning, and then I'm panning it over my shoulder and then entering Sode. It wasn't like that at the time because I'm new at trying to learn Sode to the left. I didn't have Sode to the left. So now, after I learned Sode, like after I'm like able to hit Sode consistently, that lesson that Marty gave me, like that portion has already been created for me. So just learning that beginning part, it integrated, and now I have this entire system, because of something that Marty taught me that I've journaled back in the day. Thank you, Marty, if you're listening.
So journaling can be a powerful tool.
It can
especially if you can make it to the dojo.
Yeah.
As often as you like. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Those things all work together.
Yeah.
Right. And now all of a sudden, every 2 weeks you're going in and you're preserving your body. Right.
Right.
Because you're not doing hard randori all the time. So in this way, you could actually get, leaps and bounds better. And then if you have someone like me to talk to, or someone in the gym that you could talk to about this stuff, it'll help you a lot.
Right.
Because they could identify certain things too. Majority of it is people don't have the lens, right? The judo lens, to see like what they need to work out, whatever it is. And that takes a little bit of time to create.
Yeah.
But if you're listening to this podcast and if you're kind of in the game, with intellectual grapplers, you're going to develop the ideas, you're going to develop the jargon, and you're going to develop the mind mapping tools to be able to see all these different things.
Man, I got to start doing some of it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll, next time I go back to KBI, I'll give you a better round than last time. All right. Well, I think there was a lot of good stuff in it. Anything else, Shintaro?
Nope. Guys, check out my Morote Nage video on my website, shintarohigashi.com.
Yeah.
Right? Lots of cool stuff there. Patreon, all of it.
Cool. Yeah. And as always, thanks for listening, guys. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.